Okay, what's going on, everybody? My name is Mangg. Welcome back to Hanging with Mangg, and we're gonna play some Just Cause 3 while we chat today, because it is somewhat fun. I've been having some fun with this game, but okay. So some of you may have noticed, some of you may not have cared to notice or not know, whatever. I didn't upload a great deal this week because it was a rough week. It was a rough week. Um, this Monday was Cyber Monday, and you know, I work for primarily an internet-based company that, you know, ships retail products. Basically, you know, we ship to customers every day. So Cyber Monday, of course, was a big sale. And so as head of the shipping department, there was a lot to ship. I shipped out many packages every single day, over and over and over again. So yeah, it was a really rough week at work. There was a lot to do. And aside from that, I'm sure plenty of you noticed the Bloodborne video that I put out that said no commentary. So I kind of talked about that at the beginning of that video. But yeah, just something went seriously wrong there, and I tried everything I could. I just could not make it work, and so it was like, I want to say it was like Monday or Tuesday or something. It was the first day I realized it, and I tried that night to get it working after board game night, and I was like, I'm not going to be able, I have to go to bed. I can't. I guess I'm not uploading anything. And then I think Thursday, or yeah, I think it was Thursday, I was like, alright, I'm really going to try to get this to work. I need to get this to work, and it just, yeah, it didn't do anything, and at that point I realized this is never going to work, so yeah, that was a huge pain in the ass. So a couple of days this week I just did not upload anything. We did not get to a Fallout 4 video, but truth be told, I did not really play many video games this week. I mean, Just Cause 3, I streamed on Wednesday for like 2.5 hours, which was nice. And then I didn't get to play it really until yesterday, in which I put a couple more hours into it, I think. You know, something like that. So, yeah, and then I've been playing a little bit of Bloodborne, but like I really didn't get to play much of Divinity at all this week. I didn't play Fallout 4 at all this week, so yeah, it's been a rough week. But you don't really care about that too much, or maybe you do, I don't know. But this week, hopefully should be a bit calmer and should be a bit more full of videos. I'm definitely gonna try to do a Fallout 4 video this week. I really am. But we also have Tomb Raider, of course. I do have one more. Yes, I have one more Bloodborne video saved, just ready to upload whenever, which might just be tonight. And then I would like to get the December requests from Patreon backers. So if those people could put that in the comments, I'd appreciate that, so we can get a start on that. I mean, I guess you can wait as long as you want, but if you request something on like December 23rd, you're gonna be lucky if you get one video out of it. So the earlier the better, usually. Yeah, so there's that. Yeah, that's kind of that. Not much else to say. Just a rough week. But it pays the bills, I guess. That's how I get to buy more and more board games. And that's a good segue into board games. So on Monday, we have our board game night, which is going strong. And I was concerned, you know, about this new asshole guy that I didn't want to be there. But fortunately, he was not there. The hint was delivered, and I don't think he was invited whatsoever. And so what did I bring? I brought Jungle Speed because that was requested. I brought that, and I brought Spyfall, which I haven't played in a little while. When, you know, you may remember Spyfall as being all the rage before Codenames existed. And so I haven't really put too much time into Spyfall, but I was like, okay, this could work. And then I found out we were gonna have 5 people, and this was like a group of 5 that, you know, is most likely to show up as a group. So this is like our most cohesive 5-man group we have. So of course I'm like, all right, this is it then, and I brought Risk Legacy. And so, you know, I put it on the table when I got there, and they're like, you know, Risk? You really brought a Risk game?
Be advised that chopper support is approaching.
And, you know, I will tell you, the biggest fault, the biggest problem that game has is that it has Risk on the box. Absolutely, it's the biggest problem. For a few different reasons. One is, of course, public perception. Like they saw Risk, and I'm just like, you have to trust me. You just have to trust me on this, guys. Believe in me that I know what I'm talking about. And so they did. And okay, so Risk Legacy is part of this new. Although Risk Legacy is a few years old, but the new thing is Pandemic Legacy, and there's going to be more Legacy games now on the way. And the Legacy term means a game in which they probably have a better definition than I'll give, but a game that continually evolves through player choices. I don't know if it strictly involves like modifying the board as part of its definition, but I think so far Legacy games involve modifying the board and destroying components and putting stickers on things and really making the game your own as you play. So I didn't really explain the Legacy concept to them as when we started. Like I didn't really explain it too much. I'm just like, you gotta trust me on this. We're gonna play this. It's gonna be good. And so you open up the box, and on the back of the board, which is like right at the top of the box, there's like a little plaque thing on the back of the board, and it's like, you know, we the undersigned. You know, I don't even remember what it says, but it's like, you know, we are fully aware of what is going to take place here and the wars that we will start and blah blah blah. It all starts because of this. And you know, I'm like, we have to sign this, and they're like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, it's very rarely do you ever sign the back of a board, and you know, they thought this was like a big joke or some bullshit. And they're like, you know, why would we sign the board? Like, that's ridiculous. And I'm like, you just do it, just do it. But now, after having played it one night, like, their whole world reality has changed. Like, I could ask them to sign anything, and they're like, yes, let's sign it. So we signed the board, and we dated it, and it's official. This is the group. It is done. And so then you get a number of different factions in the box. You get 5 different factions, and you get, when you first start playing, you get a number of stickers. So each faction has 2 starting abilities, basically, you get to pick from. So you pick one sticker from the 2, and you put it right on the little card for the faction. And again, it's just like, what are we doing? We're putting stickers on shit, and then you like rip up the other one. It's like, that never is in play. You don't ever get to play with it. You know, it's like, it's a lot of pressure right at the start. And then there's resource cards. So each territory has its own card associated with it. And throughout the game, you're going to be drawing these cards and picking from them. And you can cash them in to either get a victory point or to get more troops on the board. And so each card then has a number of little coin stickers on it. And the coin stickers determine how valuable the resource is and how many troops and blah, blah, blah you'll get for it. And so at the start of the game, you get 12 of these little gold coin stickers. And you, as a group, have to decide which territories get gold coin stickers on it to start with. So it's a very, like, even from the outset, you're really just like, you know, it's a game where, you know, who you play with it, you know, who you play this game with is just a big part of it, you know. This is not like a convention game, you know. This is not where it's just like, hey, let's just try this out. Like, it's a big deal. Like, you want to play this with your close friends and just, you know, people that you can really just have a good time with. So for the factions, I don't remember all their names. There's like D. Machniker and the Imperial Balkanians, and there's a few different ones. But I went with the Enclave of the Bear, which are basically like the tribals, I guess. They're like genetically enhanced tribals. And so, of course, I figured that they were led by Big Bo. As the big bear. And so that's who I picked. And of course, they claim Mother Africa as their home territory. I don't think any of the people depicted on the card are African. But I'm like, you know what? It just makes sense. I guess the backstory of the thing is that humans have discovered a way to create new Earths. Like, okay. And so they have populated the galaxy with all these new Earths. And all these different factions are vying for, you know, control of these new Earths. Because, you know, they have all the resources that a fresh Earth would have. So there's a lot of money to be had. So that's, I guess, the backstory. And so that's why, as you know, you arrive on this new Earth, and you know, it's not named, like, the continents aren't named anything. It's just like, yeah, you could just name them Antarctica, North America, or, you know, North America, South America, Europe, blah blah blah. But you can name it whatever you want. You know, it's a new Earth. So yeah, so the main thing about, well, other than it being a legacy thing, you know, other than you naming stuff and the game evolving and new rules coming into play and blah blah blah, the main thing is it's a much quicker version of Risk, which is, I mean, it kind of has to be. You wouldn't do a legacy thing where it's 8-hour games of Risk. It's like an hour and a half maybe, depending on your group, I guess. We'll see how it evolves for each game. And we played 2 games the first night, which it's rare for us to dive right into the same game a second, like right away. Boom, let's try again. But we did. And so, unlike in normal Risk, the goal is to conquer the whole world, to have global domination. In Risk Legacy, the goal is to get 4 red stars, which are basically like victory points. And so you get 1 red star for every headquarters that you control, including the one you start with. So you know, it promotes taking over other people's headquarters. You can cash in 4 resource cards to get another red star, and you get resource cards mainly by conquering other people's territories, so it promotes conflict. And if you have yet to win a game throughout the series of games, you start with 1 red star, so it helps people that have not won yet. And the first person to get 4 wins the game, and you move on to the next one. And so the legacy part, the new stuff, how it evolves, is there are certain conditions that need to be met in order for you to open like a new pack of goodies. So the conditions are kind of varied, and I don't know, well, it's not really a spoiler if I say them all, because you'll find out all the conditions as soon as you open the box. But if you win a game, you get to do a number of different things. You have your choice of a number of different things you can do. The biggest thing, the thing most people I feel are going to gravitate towards if they win a game early on, is naming one of the continents. You get to name one of the continents. And so you can name it whatever the hell you like. There's no like vote on it or anything. It's your decision as the winner. So if you want to name Europe Assville, that is what you can do. Nobody can stop you. There are a few other things. You can place down a major city. You can remove scars, which are kind of like negative drawbacks on different cities, and you know, I'm not going to go through all of it. There's a bunch of things you can do to kind of modify the game. And some of them benefit only you for being the person that decided it. Some of them benefit everybody, and so on and so forth. If you don't win the game, but you just kind of hang on, you don't get eliminated, but you're still there at the end of the game, you get to do 2 things. You get one of 2 things. One is putting another gold coin sticker on one of the resource cards, which is not that cool, but it's important. Or you can found a minor city. And there's a bunch of different, you know, there's like, I want to say there's like 12 or 15 minor cities that are probably going to be founded throughout the game. This is much more appealing early on, because you want to found all these minor cities and name them. You get to name them. So I did not win in the first game. So the first minor city I founded was in South Africa, and I called it South Central. So there you go. Ziggy did win the first game, and so he named North America. He was really like deliberating on what to do. Like, it took him a while to figure out what he wanted to name. Like, he knew he wanted to name a continent, but apparently it was a lot of pressure for him. So he finally named North America Sheltie, because it's his favorite breed of dog. It's not what I would have gone with, but okay, that is his decision, and now that is what we call it. And it's just like, all right, are you going to take over Sheltie? I don't know, I'm thinking about it. You know, it's not North America here. And so I mean, it's brilliant. I'm going to tell you right now, it's brilliant. And if you have a group of 4 or 5 people that get together on the regular, or, you know, like, it's not a really complicated game. Like, plenty of people have played Risk, and it's easier than Risk, and it's shorter than Risk. It's brilliant. It's brilliant. Of course it is. It really just is, I guess organic would be the word I would use, which is kind of a gimmicky word, but it just kind of promotes this idea of natural storytelling. I'm using a lot of gimmicky words here. I'll give examples instead. So in the first game, everybody gets a scar card, just randomly handed out to you. And Scar cards can be played at various times, depending on what it is, and they go on a territory. They go on a territory, and they usually have a negative effect. So, like one of the cards, the Scar card that I had was an ammo shortage. And so, before a battle took place, like when I attacked a place, I would play the Scar card. I'd play the ammo shortage on a territory that I was attacking. And the defender, I think they would like their higher dice would be one lower. So if they rolled a 5, it would actually be a 4. And so that Scar is not necessarily permanent, but it's annoying, very annoying to get rid of. Like, if you win a game, one of your things you can do as your only thing is getting rid of a Scar effect. So it's a big deal. And so I used it on my first game just because I was like, I want to put shit on the board. You know, I just want to do stuff. And so I played it on Russia. I was attacking Russia and I was like, you know what? Russia has an ammo shortage. And because I was attacking one of my friend's headquarters. His headquarters was in Russia. And was like, your headquarters has an ammo shortage now. And I did not think this through at all, because I won the battle, of course, and so I took over Russia, which still has an ammo shortage. And I had kind of abandoned my original headquarters in Central Africa. So I kind of screwed myself. And so... oh, shit. And so I was like, well, I probably lost this game. And so then after the game was over, the guy whose headquarters was in Russia, he decided to name Russia, or name a city in Russia as a minor city. And he called it Suckington because, well, it sucks. Like, nobody's ever going to get rid of that Scar. Especially now, because if you get rid of the Scar, it's not really Suckington anymore. So there it is. Boom. Done. The capital city of Russia is Suckington. And there's a massive ammo shortage that lasts all time. And so then later, the second game, I believe, Ziggy was holed up in Australia. And he decided as kind of a bottleneck to hold up in Thailand, I believe. And after the first game, one of my other friends decided to name, completely randomly, just because he wanted to, he named a minor city in Thailand as Bangkok. Spelling it incorrectly, of course. And so Ziggy was basically holed up in Bangkok. And Bangkok became kind of this great nexus for conflict, or, you know, desire for conflict, because Ziggy had already won the first game, and he had a very well-fortified position down there, and he was on track of building up his troops and winning a second game. And so Bangkok kind of became this thing, and it became even more of a thing when Ziggy played his... I think he played a Scar card. I think, yeah, he had a Scar card that was a bunker. So I guess Scars aren't necessarily bad. I'm pretty sure it was a Scar. But a bunker is like the opposite of ammo shortage. It just makes defending it easier. So Bangkok became this giant, just fortified city of, you know, this huge bottleneck into Australia. And it's just really funny that you know, it was Bangkok. He randomly named it Bangkok, and, you know, he had no interest down there, but he just did it. And now Bangkok is like, Bangkok at this point in the Earth's history is like, you know, it's like Mega City 1 pretty much. And so it just kind of, you know, if you have a group that, you know, gets along, and, you know, doesn't take conflict too seriously, you know, has a sense of humor and things like that, yeah, I mean, you're going to have a time with Risk Legacy that you'll never really forget, I think. So unfortunately, Ziggy did win the second game as well. The Bangkok was just too strong. None of us could really compete with it. I was floundering around in Africa. Africa is hard to hold, man. I think because you want to expand and take over all of Africa right away because you get a big continent bonus. It's really nice, but you spread yourself way too thin. People just, pound through and kick your ass, and you're kind of left with nothing. So Risk Legacy changes it a little bit where you can get eliminated, but it's much more difficult. If you lose all your troops on the board, you are knocked out. And whoever knocked you out gets to take all your resource cards, so it's beneficial for them to knock you out. However, the start of your next turn, if there is a legal territory for you to spawn in, which basically means a territory that doesn't have other troops in it, is not next to a headquarters, and has no cities in it, or scars, you can spawn there, and so you get 8 more troops that you just plop down. So if you're down to 1 troop, yeah, somebody could just knock you out and get your cards, but then you come back with 8 troops in a different part of the world, so they kind of have to balance that out. If, however, you cannot join the war again, if you can't respawn, you are then eliminated and you are out of the game, and you don't get to name a minor city. Like, it's really shit if you get eliminated. However, one of the packets to open new stuff is if a player gets eliminated completely. So at some point, somebody is going to get eliminated because we want to know what's inside those packets, which is really the most exciting thing. So we did get to open one of the packets because one of them is open this packet when a player gets to write their name on the victory thing twice. And so Ziggy won 2 games in a row, our first 2 games. He got to write his name on the victory column twice. And so, yeah, we got to open that. Now, I will not spoil what was in that packet. That is for you to find out. I'm sure plenty of people are never gonna, play it or anything like that, and just would be curious. But yeah, I'm not gonna say anything because that's kind of the whole point. Rest assured, though, it's damn cool. I mean, there are things I don't know. Like, it's amazing how I've read so many things about so many board games in the past year and a half. And I've gotten basically no spoilers about what's inside those packets. Like, people do not spoil that stuff, which is really impressive. A lot of, communities would just be full of assholes, but I don't know anything about what's in them. And so I will continue not spoiling them. But it is cool stuff. I mean, you're going to have, like, rule replacements. You're going to have, like, event cards and mission cards and stuff I don't even know about, and I'm really excited. So, obviously, I really like Risk Legacy. However, I don't think it's going to be in my top 10. And the reason is, as I said before, the biggest problem with this game is that it has Risk on the box. Because when it comes down to it, it is still Risk. Rob Daviau has done everything that he possibly could. He has gotten every ounce of goodness out of Risk, and he has done things with it that just amaze me. But it is still Risk, and you are still going to be rolling dice against other people and hoping for the best. I mean, again, this could change. We're only 2 games in, and things with this game could really change. Like, it's not like other games where you see everything there is to see at the start. There could be rules changes that really just kind of make this into a glorious beast. But as it is right now, it's still Risk. You could still go up against somebody with 30 troops to their 10 and lose, because it is Risk, and there is still kind of this. There is still player elimination, and there is still, like, during the second game, I had 1 troop, and I kept on trying to just retake Africa, but you just can't do it. It's just not how the game works. So yeah, I'm hoping to hear, find new rules and things like that. Maybe this could go into my top 10. As it is, I still definitely recommend it. It is a great experience, but it is still risk, I guess. All right, so yeah, we had a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun, especially without that guy. Yeah, and then, oh, Spyfall. I didn't talk about Spyfall. Spyfall was alright. Spyfall is a very group-dependent game, though. Like, if you have one person playing that just sucks ass at it and does not get it, yeah, it's gonna kind of bring it down a little bit. So we had one guy that was just like, he was the spy, I think his first game, I think it was his second game, he was a spy, and like, there was 3 minutes left on the clock. Somebody asked him a question, and he kind of answered it, and then he just, like, stares at the center, book to look at all the locations, and then he's just like, I don't know, man. I don't know. It's like, okay. It's not Codenames. Spyfall is not Codenames. It's a bit more of a gamer's game, and you have to do a bit more... I mean, there's line involved, and, yeah, it's a bit more complicated. I like Spyfall, but it won't make my top 10, whereas Codenames very easily could. And then Jungle Speed it's Jungle Speed. It always is Jungle Speed. I mean, it's starting to wear a little bit because we've played it a lot, but... yeah, I mean, we'll still bring it out. What else then? I did get my copy of Blood Rage in, and I'm very excited. I'm looking over this. I opened it all up. I was looking at everything. I'm like, yes, need to play it. It's like Cthulhu Wars meets Kemet, but with Vikings and Ragnarok and Thor, and like, yes, give it to me. So looking forward to playing that. On Friday we played Castles of Mad King Ludwig with the new expansion, the Secrets expansion. Now keep in mind, we started this at like 2 a.m. So it was kind of late. We were all very tired. But I think we were all somewhat underwhelmed. I mean, this expansion has been kind of in the works for a little while. We've been very patiently waiting for this. And it just didn't really bring much to the table. Haha. Okay, so you have the big thing, I guess, is moats. So you have these moats that you can build around your castle. And they give you bonuses, they give you points, but they also constrain your castle severely. So you can only really build inside of your moats. And these moats do not make a big castle. Like, I was very surprised at how small your castle gets to be. Like, you can fit, depending on the size of rooms available to you, you can fit like 8 rooms in there. Which is a very small castle compared to what we used to play with. And 2 of us played with full moats, and the third person did not. The third person ended up winning. Because if the only rooms that come up are really big rooms, like large size rooms that you get to purchase, yeah, it sucks. It sucks. If you get a lot of 100s and 150s and things like that, okay, maybe this can work. But we had one 100 room. We had one of the smallest rooms in the whole set, and so yeah, it hurt us. It hurt us. So moats, kind of underwhelming. Then there's secret corridors. There's like hidden corridors you can get. Which basically just kind of help with adjacency bonuses. But these do not work too well combined with moats because they just kind of expand your castle out even more, and it's just like, okay, again, it's okay, it's just not very interesting. And then finally there's swans, which certain like the new rooms have swan symbols on them, so they get swan tokens, and you can cash swan tokens in for money or for victory points at the end. And it's just like, okay, like, alright, you know, it's there, it exists, it's a viable strategy to win. The guy that won ended up going for, like, all the swan stuff, but it doesn't make it fun, you know? It doesn't, like, enhance the game at all. It just is, okay, more point stuff. I think there is good expansions possible for castles, you know, that add really cool stuff, like maybe 3D stuff and things like that, but this one, yeah, it was underwhelming.
Units just outside range. Waiting on your action, Rico.
I mean, it's easy stuff to just include, like, you know, I'll just always bring out the moats, you know, I'll include the secret corridors, but it's not that fun. It didn't rekindle my love for castles of Mad King Ludwig. Yesterday, at Binary, we played Dominion. I haven't played Dominion in a little while. Dominion is a game that, when I first played it, and I remember talking about it. I actually vividly remember when I first talked about this game. I'm pretty sure it was on a Hanging with Mangg. I was playing Shadows of Mordor.
Who's next?
And I remember when I first played it, I was like, this is really cool. Like, this is something that just, when you play Scrabble, or, you know, Monopoly or some other card games, like, you just don't get something like this. This is unique. And it is unique, or it was unique. It's not unique anymore, and to me, it's not really that compelling anymore. I'll play it if somebody really wants to, but I'm never going to request it. And so we played 3-player at Binary, so it was kind of loud and crowded, blah, 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 but we got through the game. And, there's a strategy in Dominion that most people, I think, if they play any amount of Dominion, they stumble upon, because it's not really that hard to find. It's called Big Money. And Big Money, if you're playing with beginners, will pretty much beat them every single time. Big Money is, like, in Dominion, basically, there's going to be a number of action cards. There's always going to be, like, 10 action cards, and they're always going to do some crazy stuff that, varies up the game and blah, blah, blah. But there's also going to be just money cards. You just buy more money cards that just have higher value and blah, blah, blah. Big Money is literally just buying money cards. You just buy silvers and then golds, and then you buy provinces. You really, you can do Big Money without buying a single action card. Big Money is better if you buy certain action cards, but you can definitely do it without buying a single action card. And if you're playing with beginners, you'll most likely beat them every single time. And so that's pretty much what I did. That's what I did that game, is I just did, like, base Big Money. I think I bought a few action cards, which did help me. But I might have just won straight up regular Big Money. Even though my one friend that picked it out, he's like, let's play Dominion. Like, he plays it quite a bit. I don't know how he hasn't realized about Big Money yet, because it's not really that complicated. You literally just buy money and then buy victory points. But yeah, I ended up very handily winning the game. And it was just like, well, okay. I mean, yeah, I probably could have made it more interesting for myself if I did something more interesting with action cards, but I was like, I'm just going to win. You know, like, big money, you don't really have to think about too much. Like, he was playing like 8 action cards every turn. He's like, market, 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 smithy, market, feast, festival, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, I have 9. I'll take a province. It's just like, all right, done. My turns were like 4 seconds. Which I guess is the lazy way to play Dominion and win. But yeah, it's not my favorite game by a long stretch. I respect what it is, but I'm never gonna request it. Yeah. So that was pretty much our board gaming for the week. Yeah. What else? Okay. So
I'm out.
we did. Oh, I didn't see Victor Frankenstein this week. We were supposed to go on Tuesday, and I actually turned down going to see it because I was so tired. So that should tell you something. It's not often at all I turn down seeing a movie on a Tuesday, but I couldn't do it. And then on Thursday we went to Bees, of course, for maybe one of our last Thursday Applebee's trips for a while. And we had the same waitress again. I don't know what's up. That ain't no coincidence, man. I'm telling you. And so we asked her about the arrest that happened, and she was like, "Oh yeah, I heard about that. You were here. That I was in Ohio last week." And I thought, you know, I don't know why she felt the need to say Ohio. Like, she could have just said out of town. But okay, now I know she's from Ohio, because that's where I assume she was visiting her family for Thanksgiving. Deduction. I don't know. It would explain the Joe that's at the end of her name, which is not a Wisconsin thing. And you know, she apparently got a bunch of phone calls from people about it, asking and talking to her about it, and apparently what happened with the whole bathroom stall thing, because we were curious on how they knew where she kept the money. Apparently, she was like feigning concern for the crack waitress, as far as like, you know, oh, somebody stole your money, I'm gonna help you find it, blah blah blah. Which I don't know if that's well, I mean, I guess it's so interesting. Like, that's the route she went. Like, that's what she decided to do. Is I'm gonna pretend to help you. I mean, I guess it somewhat deflects suspicion away from you. I guess it depends on the type of person you are normally. Like, if you're normally the kind of asshole that wouldn't help, then it's very suspicious. So I guess it would be suspicious if I did it. But, yeah, so she was, like, helping her try to look for it, and then they decided to call the cops, and apparently this is when the girl, like, freaked. Like, she was not ready for the sudden intervention of authority. So this is when she apparently went into the bathroom. And I wasn't quite clear on what she did in the bathroom. Like, that's where she had already hid the money, or that's where she was currently hiding the money. I'm not sure. But something about, she went in the bathroom when the sure cops were being called, and so that's when people were like, what is going on here? And so I was like, oh, we thought that Jeff, like, had cameras in the bathroom. You should have seen her face when I said that, man. Like, it was the most appalling thing I could have ever suggested. Like, she was horrified. I almost regret it, but I don't, because This is Jeff we're talking about. It is not beyond him. But then she says, Jeff is not that creepy. And I'm like, uh-huh. And then it gets even funnier because she literally looked around. Like she craned her head around to look around her surroundings. And then she says, seriously though, Jeff is like my favorite of the managers. And I'm just like, he's got this girl completely brainwashed. So I'm just like, wow, you know, like, this has really surprised me. This is not a good man. This is a man that denies kids menu items to adults for no other reason than his own personal satisfaction. He's not a good human being. Like, and I kind of forgot about it until we brought it up a little later amongst ourselves, but this is the guy that if waitresses gave people extra sauerkraut, he would take it out of their paycheck. This is not a good human being. And she was the one who told us about that. Like, I don't know. This doesn't seem right. There is some brainwashing going on. That's all I know. But, okay. And then, you know, she gave us the bills later, and she's like, well, see you next week. And she looked right at me, and I'm just like, see, how can I not come in next week when, you know, when I'm given a command like that? You want me to just abandon it for D&D? I mean, I like D&D, but I don't know. I guess we're gonna set our first D&D session in stone for December 16th, which is a Wednesday. Because one of my friends is gone next week, so we can't do it then. Next Thursday, we're going to see Star Wars at 11 o'clock. The next Thursday is Christmas Eve, and the next Thursday after that is New Year's Eve. So it's just like, okay, we have to do something else. So for the next month or so, we're going to do it on Wednesdays before we switch over. Hopefully. I mean, you know, we said December 16th set in stone, so hopefully that carries through. On Friday, we decided to not go out, but instead have a night in with Rock Band. Because I had been talking about Rock Band. They were excited about Rock Band, so we got 4 of us together and we played Rock Band. Unfortunately, we played Rock Band 3 instead of 4. Because the Rock Band 4 band in a box does not come with a full band in a box. You get 1 guitar, 1 microphone, 1 set of drums. No 2 guitars, which is necessary for the whole band. So, I was hoping that I could just use my Xbox 360 wireless guitar on the Xbox One. Why wouldn't you be able to? Unfortunately, no Xbox 360 accessories are compatible with Xbox One. Like, at all. Ever. So, I'm like, well, shit. You know, we either have to switch off, which is real lame, or we can just play Rock Band 3, which is okay. So we played Rock Band 3, and I was relegated to vocals because I was the only one that was really interested in doing vocals. Everybody else kind of has their own thing. So I was on vocals, and yeah, we played about 4.5 hours of Rock Band that night, which was quite a bit. I belted out many a song, and yeah, it was a really good time. Like, I've never played Rock Band with a group of competent players. The only time I've ever played Rock Band with other people has been, like, family members that have never played it before, and they just play on easy, and I have to turn on, like, no fail mode and stuff like that. So for us all to be playing on expert and stuff, that was pretty crazy. And it was good. It was a really good time. It was tiring, but it was fun. So I ordered, there's a legacy adapter you can get that lets you hook up 360 wireless stuff to Xbox One. So that's on the way, so next time we'll be able to play Rock Band 4. So, yeah, it was a really good time. And then we ended at like 1 a.m. And we're like, well, we haven't played Castles yet, but I'm kind of hungry. So we went to Taco Bell at 1 a.m., which is not really a good idea ever. Yeah. Like, prime time Taco Bell is very different than fourth meal Taco Bell. The quality is not the same. And I ordered way too much, as I usually do, and so it actually decreased our amount of energy for Castles. So we were really tired. But we soldiered on through that game. Then yesterday we decided to go to Binary, which... Okay, so I walk into Binary, and I see, like, I turn to my left right away, and I see this large grouping of people, mostly wearing black. And so my immediate thought was, there must be, like, an emo convention in town, or, you know, something like that. Like, that's exactly what I thought. However, as we later found out, it was not an emo convention, but it was an event of some type. And I'll give you a few seconds to think about what it might have been. Are you ready? It was for a funeral. Which is funny. Well, I mean, it's not. It's a funeral, so I guess it's not funny. But it's somewhat entertaining because, one, I thought it was an emo convention. And two, the fact that you would have a funeral party at Binary, which is not a place that you should ever have any party. But party they did, and they were raucous and blah 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 and so on and so forth, and you know, it just okay. So there was a lot of people there. It was crowded and all that kind of shit, and we just kind of sat there, played Dominion once, and then sat there some more, and then we decided, well, we're gonna get some food, but we're definitely not getting food here. That'd be a tragic mistake. So we went to the old watering hole. The old, sad, kind of depressing bar. Sat at the bar, got some food there. They had a new bartender. And I've noticed that their bartenders appear to be getting, like step by step, they get more attractive as they get new bartenders. Like, each one more attractive than the last. Slowly but surely. This one looked like a young Anne Ramsey from Mad About You. For the one person out there that understands what I'm talking about. But she much more attractive than that. I did this challenge terribly, by the way. So yeah, she was pretty cute. And so we're kind of just sitting there overhearing her talk to some other patrons. And they asked her, like, oh, how old are you? They were talking about something, and then it led to that question. It wasn't out of the blue. They're like, oh, how old are you? And she's like, oh, I'm 30. And I'm just like, what? What? And later, like, I told them, my friends, and they're like, no way. From behind, she looks 20. And so later, though, we're like, well, you know, 30 is not that far off from what we are. Like, I'm a few years away from 30. And so, like, sometimes we just still assume we're, like, 18-year-olds. And 30 is just, like, old adulthood. But, no, it's really not that far off at all. Which is somewhat scary to think about. So it's like, yeah, she was only a few years older than us. But, Yeah, I was like, you know, man, she looks really good for 30, but then I'm like, 30's not that old. So she just looks good, I think is what you would call it. It was a weird discovery. Yeah, so. But she was like, yeah, you know, I'm the grumpy old bartender now, and you know, I just complain about the loud music and the profanities and things like that. She also didn't charge me for my soda. And, okay, so I don't go to a lot of bars. I don't really go to that many. But whenever I do get generally a soda. Very, very rarely has my soda ever been free because they think I'm the designated driver, which I've never been. And I actually don't like when they do that. Because I feel it's just like, I don't want to do, I don't know. I don't know why I don't like it. I just, like, I want to pay, I just want to be treated like a normal person, damn it. Maybe I feel bad because I'm not the designated driver at all, so you're just giving me a free soda for no reason. And then it's like, I'm getting food, so, you know, you're going to take my money anyways. It's just, I don't know. It's a weird thing on why I don't like it, but I don't care for it. Yeah, I guess. Anyways, though, I guess that about wraps up today's episode. Yeah, so hopefully this week we get a bit back to normal. I mean, work's still going to be a little rough, but it should be okay. And hopefully that Bloodborne crap is behind me. So there'll be more Bloodborne, more Tomb Raider. I really hope a Fallout 4 video. And for those people that have not put in their Patreon requests, now is the time to do so. But my name is Mangg. This has been Hanging with Mangg. I'll see you fine folks next week.